Can you see it? Looks like a good one. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a nice find there. Yeah, that's nice. Small arrowhead. Not bad for the first find of the day. It's definitely made out of flint. Oh, it's a nice one. A little bit broken, but not too bad. They're always easier to find after a heavy rain. The flint stands out more when it's wet. All right, let's see what else we can find. This is usually the area where I find a lot of flint. Scrapers, pieces of drills. Like the little flint drill bits. And more or less just pieces of flint that have washed up. Whenever it rains and all the water runs down off of the hills and out of the little valleys, it drains down out through the tributaries and off the sides of the hills and etches out the sediment along the banks, releasing the artifacts and sending them downstream where they get caught up in the rocks on the bank. So it's always a good time to go looking after a heavy rain. Lots of new finds. And lately I've been finding more and more arrowheads. I think there's a spot upstream that's getting etched away more and more deeper inland where an old campsite used to be. And so I've been finding a lot more flint and a lot more arrowheads. They are rare though. 9 times out of 10, it's a piece of flint or a scraper. Flint is really easy to overlook. even though to a trained eye it stands out well, it's super easy to miss it as it blends in with all these other rocks and stones, and you got to kind of train your eye to spot it in one pass. That's why it's always a good idea to walk back the same way you came, so you get two shots at finding anything that you may have overlooked on your way in. A lot of times I'll find several pieces on my way in, or I'll walk the same path back, and I'll find a couple more pieces that I missed, whether I just overlooked them or whether I just walked past them or was looking in a different direction as I was heading in the first time. There's a lot of leaves on the ground right now, so it is definitely hindering my ability to find artifacts. But I don't think I've ever looked and not found something. We got really lucky finding that arrowhead, especially to find it on camera. But I'm going to be recording these hunts more and more so that I can share them with everyone. And this is a good example of how the water etches out the side of the bank, releases stones that are caught in the sand and soil. Water carries them downstream and then deposits them on bends, sharp turns, and in areas where there's a lot of natural sluice activity. The reason we've been finding more arrowheads down here, I do believe, is because of this etching, this natural etching after it rains. See that? Whenever it pulls these trees out after a heavy flood or a real heavy storm, the water level rises and it's moving really fast. It likes to pull the sediment out around the roots, and then eventually the trees will fall over. And a lot of times when these trees fall over, it takes out a huge chunk of earth with it. And that'll free up a bunch of artifacts as well. Go back over here where we can see the stones. So I came over here and I saw this, and in the corner of my eye I thought it was flint, but it is not. This is one of those, I think it's like fossilized clay, could be a bone. Always stands out like flint because of its color and how smooth it is. But anyways, I saw that, thought it was flint, and as I was kneeling down here and looking at it closer, something awesome caught the corner of my eye. Let's see if you can see it. Do you see it? Can you see it? Look at that. That is an arrowhead. Man, it really does stand out in the water. Look at that. Oh, that's nice. It's in good shape. A little bit of the tip is gone. But man, it's nice. Nice and clean. It's 2 arrowheads on this trip so far. That's awesome. All right, let's see if we can find anything else. You see it? I see a piece of flint. Do you see it? That is definitely flint. Looks like smaller pieces of flint were broken off of it. I just see a little bit of working on it. But it looks like, for the most part, something was made out of the pieces that were taken off of this piece. Still pretty though. Still has some of the host rock on it. It's pretty. See if we can find some more. Can you see it? Where's the flint? It's definitely a piece of Ohio flint. Typical brown chert looking flint. Still just as good as any other flint though. Let's wash it off. This has a little bit of red in it. I don't know if the camera can see that or not. Oh yeah. It has some nice color to it. A little bit of iron staining. Look at that. It's a nice one. All right. Let's see if we can find some more. I know you can see that one. Right? These ones are a little harder to spot. They blend in well. It's been heavily weathered and it still has some chert on the outside of it. But it is flint nonetheless. Not too bad. Certainly not an artifact. But it could have been a piece of something that was taken off of a larger piece of flint to create an artifact. Scraps. Going in the pocket. Got a larger piece here. Probably flat. Chipped from the top of a flint seam. When you find a vein of flint, it's in layers. It's got this layer on top of it, which has the host rock on top. Then it has the thin or thick parallel running vein of flint, and more than likely a sedimentary rock on the bottom. The flint gets chipped out from in between the two layers, hauled away, traded, or used to make tools. And this is a good representation of what thin layers of sedimentary host rock and chert, or shale sometimes, and flint look like. You can see you have a real thin layer of flint here, the host rock on top. And there were probably a bunch of seams that looked just like this. They grew in plates, stacked on top of each other. And you could remove this flint plate from this plate and work this into arrowheads or scrapers or drill bits or whatever you wanted, really. So I see a piece of flint that I know is going to be really pretty. I don't know if it's going to be an artifact, but it's definitely going to be pretty. It's going to have some blues in it. Maybe some pearl colored quartz as well. Although I'm not sure. I do happen to see a lot of the quartz stringers in the deeper bluer colored flints. Well, let's have a look at it. Can you see it? Right there. And that is definitely a worked piece of flint. Whether it was finished or not, it doesn't look finished. It's a nice heavy piece too. Still has some of the host rock on the outside of it. Get it into the light here. Oh yeah. Definitely has some workings on it. Might have been used as a scraper. Kind of thick for a scraper. But it might have been a heavy duty tool. It's nice. That would have been the very corner of a seam when they broke it off, of the source. Cool. So, I saw something orange. You see it? To me, it looks orange. And it's actually pretty cool. The orange isn't flint. But as it caught my eye and I was looking at it, I saw that, which is obviously a piece of flint. And it is a piece of worked flint. Looks like it would have been a scraper. It was used heavily. That's pretty cool. The orange rock that I found is actually a petrified piece of driftwood, which is also pretty cool. Two finds in one spot. My pockets are getting heavy. But we will keep going. Alright, so we got another smaller piece of flint here. Kind of a cool oxidized color. Not too bad. So here's kind of a unique find. It's a larger chunk. It definitely has an odd color. Do you see it? Right there. Let's have a closer look. Oh, wow. It's heavy. Oh, that is nice. That is a big piece. It's got greens in it. Reds, browns, yellows. Has some of that quartz material I was talking about. So what they would do is they would take large chunks like this off of the source, and then they would chip the pieces they liked or wanted off of it to turn into arrowheads or scrapers or other tools. This is really nice. I can't believe I just found that. That's awesome. It's beautiful. Well, that's not going to fit in my pocket, so. Yeah, look what I just found next to it. That might have actually come off of it at one point in time. Cool. That will fit in my pocket. All right, so that wraps it up for today. Not bad. I was out here for around an hour, and we didn't do too bad. So here are today's finds. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this video. More to come soon in the future. Thank you for watching.